Next is layer setup. Under layer setup, I will do all the manipulation of my layers. For a start, my active layer is always displayed in this top line. There's a list of all the layers that are there. But how did I get them there? The first 10 layers are default with Caddy's installation. So how do I customize it? Let's have a look. Select layer setup to get the layer setup dialog box. The first group we're going to look at is the parameters. These are the layers used. The second line is the current VSE, and that is for visibility, snappability, and editability. The next line is my active layer. Next, I can set the layers to be sorted by either creation, by index, or by name. Which layers do I want to set to be shown? I can select either used layers, visible layers, or all the layers to be shown. To password protect a layer under security can sometimes be misleading. I am not locking a layer, but I am locking the visibility, the snappability, and the editability of a layer. So whenever I switch the VSE flags, I can save that and protect that so that no one can switch it on or off again. So why do we have the functionality? Let's look at a practical example. When an engineer, for example, has designed the columns of a building, he can set that specific layer where the columns are on, switch the editability off, lock the layer, and then no one else can then modify it. Although you can see it and snap to it, you cannot modify it. I can add extra notes under the description for each of my layers. Very important, you will notice under the index number there is an asterisk to some of the layer numbers. For instance, layer number 0 and layer number 5. All the asterisk means is that there is information residing on that layer. So the layer without an asterisk can be deleted with the delete function, but when there is an asterisk, it means there's information and it will not be deleted. Let's see how we would go about modifying some of the layer parameters. So let's change layer number 1, and we're going to call it foundations. So I will click on layer 1, and where it says general working and scratch area, I select that. Now I can also change it at the top by selecting there and changing it, but in this version I can actually double click in the layer and change it there. Let's say I want to work color by layer, so I want to change my pen for that layer to be pen 3. I can now change it within the line, or I can do it at the top line. I can also change my line style for my layer, and I can also change the line widths or the line weights for that layer. Here I can set the transparency for that layer by double clicking on it. From the drop down list I will select the percentage of transparency I want to set. Let's select 10. This layer is not password protected, and the plottable option for the layer is set to yes. Next I will demonstrate how to set the editability, snappability, and viewable options of a layer. I select the layer, and then when I click on edit, you'll see it will disappear from the list. The same with the snappable option and the viewable option. As soon as I select the editable option, it also restores the viewable and snappable option. Do not confuse these settings with the enabled option under status. When a layer is enabled, the video display card driver will use the entities on that layer to calculate the regeneration of the screen. When it is disabled, it is totally omitted and obviously faster to do a redraw with a lot of entities on that specific layer. To globally enable or disable layers, I can use the enable all or disable all option. To set the viewable, snappable, and editable options globally, I can use the force VSE to all in list. Let's say I want to reindex a layer. How would I go about? I'm going to scroll down and select layer 233 for section arrows, and I want to reindex that to layer number 24. So I select reindex, type in 24, select OK. You can see the layer number has changed. I'm going to select by name and then again by index, and you will see that it has been moved to point number 24 in the list. I've completed the manipulation, so I'm going to select OK and carry on with my drawing.